Hello, I'm Lann.
And I'm Lydia, and welcome to Special AF.
This week we've got another very special guest. Who are you? And what do you do?
I'm Sarah Redman.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, I work as a TA in Canolfan Elfed in QE High School.
What does that involve?
Right, well, I work with young people with learning disability, learning difficulties, neurodivergence. Many have a dual diagnosis, so they're from year 7 to year 14, and they come into Elfed, which is part of the QE school family. The unit is actually attached to the school, so it's as integrated as it can possibly be. And my work is really mainly with sixth formers, but also with some of the younger children, getting them out of school. So most of the stuff that I do is out either on a conservation site and doing bushcraft and horticulture and building stuff. And then the other side of the work that I do is around work prep and getting them out into work-based activity.
Right.
So that it's about building resilience, self-confidence, and the skills that they need to get out into the community and have a meaningful life in their community.
Okay, it might sound a daft question, but what's the differences for the kids that you deal with and like kids, like, because I'm like when you're sort of 15, you tend to do like work experience and stuff, but I imagine it's there's a different set of challenges and considerations. Yeah,
I mean, massively different, I'd say. Although in the end, it is all about those children having confidence and being accepted out in their community. So, but the problem is often opportunity for young people who have a disability or a neurodivergence of some kind, and it's having the ability to get out in a safe way, so that often in mainstream situations, young people going out, they go out on work experience, they're going to do 2 weeks in this place, and that's great, and tick the box, and that's fabulous. And often that is enough. But for young people who have issues with processing and have to have long periods for learning and patterning in ideas and skills, that doesn't work. Anything front-loaded is not going to work. Yeah. And so it's sort of done almost the other way round. We start off very gradually and then build and build and build, so that we have employers locally in Carmarthen who've taken people for a year for just 2 hours a week.
Right.
And then they've actually extended that to 4 hours a week. And then
at the pupil's behest, usually, or can it be
it's
both?
It's always a sort of mutual agreement.
Right.
You know, I have to risk assess everything.
Sure.
Because, you know, we're a school, we're a local authority. It has to be on the basis that it will be covered by insurance, frankly. Yeah. And then what I do is I say, well, I talk to the person who's going to go out, first of all, see what they want to do. Yeah. Try and, if there's no idea or there's been no previous experience, we go out on some visits and just look at different work settings. If it's not going to be a work setting, then independent living skills are just as important. So it's catching a bus and going and getting off the bus and then going to buy something or visit somewhere or go to the library, that sort of thing. So it's all meaningful activity in context. Yeah. So, you know, it has to be gradual, it has to be tailored to the individual, but it's always with the agreement of the person who is going out, family or carers, because these young people are very rarely over 18, right? So they have to give consent. Yeah. The manager in the unit and the class teacher, and of course the employer, or the person we're going to go and visit. Everybody's involved in the decision making. Sure. Then once we've got a consensus, that's when I will do a risk assessment and we'll do a visit. Right. And on the basis of that visit and having a look round, it's either yes, I'd like to try this, or no, I'm not interested in this. So we then set up 4 tasters. So there'll be 4 sessions going in and just feeling the way into the place. And then I do a little review with the TA that has been going, the young person and the employer, and we look at, well, what's worked? Is this a goer? Do we want to carry on? Do you like it?
Yeah.
Are you getting something out of this? And if they are, then we will extend the placement. Okay. And then I will do reviews every sort of like, if it's a long term, every half term. If it's a short term, probably just termly. But we always have like a wide objective, and within that we have smaller targets. And we follow up that they do a work placement diary so that they're actually looking at what they've achieved, and then they might take an aspect of that and just concentrate on that 1 week, so that they're not just repetitively saying, I did this, I did that, the same every week.
Yeah.
Do you find sort of like potential employers, the people who were the young people are going out on their placement, do you find that people are nervous because it's an unknown, like they don't know what to expect, or how to deal with some of the young people, and does that, like, how does that change once? Because I imagine once you get in front of someone, it's very different than a sort of abstract idea of, I'm going to have someone, with learning disabilities, or I'm going to have someone who's neurodivergent, particularly if you don't have any experience.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, the big thing, I guess, isn't it? Is making it the norm that you have people that are integrated and not,
That's exactly it. It's got to be normal. It's got to be something that you don't think twice about. So the way I've worked, I started out doing work prep a long time ago with MenCap, and before that I've done other roles where I've had to go in to employers and say, would you take this person in for a while? And what I've found over the years is it doesn't matter if the policy says you ring this person or email them first, you don't. You actually go in and speak to them face to face, talk about what you do, get to know them a bit. Talk about, do you think it might be an option in the future if I brought someone in to visit? But the best way I've found is to ask people if they mind if I bring young people in to just look around. Not as a visit prior to a placement, but just so that I've got some children that have no idea what's out there. So I will set up maybe 2 to 3 visits in one session in town with the TA that is most likely to go with them, so that immediately you're getting that sort of continuity going. And then we go around to all these different places and they have a look around, and that's when the employers get to meet people. And when you've been around with maybe 2 or 3 young people who are very different, there's that feeling that they get it and they start to relax. But also we've got so many placements now with local small businesses. The employers in Carmarthen are fantastic.
Are they?
Oh, amazing.
So your sort of success rate is
above and beyond.
That's great.
But they all know each other as well. So word of mouth gets around. And some people like Nick and Paul in Tea Traders have been fantastic. We're giving them a rest at the moment because Matthew's now coming here. But it's like I don't know what we would do without these small employers. They are the ones who are so committed and so invested in what we do. Like the young man Stephen, who has just turned 16 in February. He's left school to go to a full-time job at Chris Thomas Fruit and Veg. He is amazing. He has done this all himself, but we'd have never got there without Chris and Tanya being there and saying, yes, let's give this a go.
But opportunity is everything, isn't it? We were saying, when you find whoever you are, when you find your thing, or the thing that I'm really good at this. For one of our kids, it was farming, which got nothing to do with our family. We got no farmers, and it was from someone when he was out of school, a guy just taking a chance and going, you can come and have a go. But you need the opportunity. You need to get your foot in the door first, don't you?
Absolutely.
And I think what you said earlier, Sarah, about young people not knowing what's out there. I remember myself, years after, graduating and trying millions of different jobs and thinking, well, if I'd known that, I don't know, photography was a job, then I would have given that a go.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of it is around, I hesitate to say job, because it's not necessarily about, but matching the activity to that person.
Yeah.
But you need to find out what that person wants to do, or what their aptitudes are first, because often they don't know what they are.
No. Who does? Like when you're leaving school anyway, that idea that you're suddenly ready to be, I'm a grown up now, I'm going to go and look after myself.
It's very, very rare, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you're going to go, I definitely want to be an accountant, so like everything's mapped out.
I
it's
still
rare.
know what I want to be when I grow up. It's
so refreshing though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to be able to go with it and see what's out there.
But people have to sort of model that, I think, for you and educate and show you the possibilities, which it sounds like that's something that you're doing.
Well, I
daily.
hope so. I think we are. I think, there's been a big commitment from my manager, Lisa Thomas, right through the unit, every member of staff. There might be people who are don't actually want to be involved themselves, but everybody is behind what we're doing. It's a terrific group of staff there, and they're all there and investing in our young people. And I just think that we've got such a range of talents in the unit that we can actually mix and match. So I do job coaching work with the TAs that go out, because being a job coach is completely different from being a TA. You do need there's crossover, there's transferable skills, but it's a very different thing to nurture someone and help them to do stuff all the time, to parallel working with them and demonstrating,
not doing it for them.
Exactly. And it is very
enabling,
absolutely helping people to help themselves, to learn for themselves, to try things a different way, and to learn that we over prompt, we over communicate, so we actually almost are responsible for a lot of the learned helplessness we see in young people. Especially those that have had to be protected and are very vulnerable. So you're almost having to spend the first year and a half undoing a lot of that.
And learning for yourself so that you can be more effective.
We had a young man came into town yesterday to have his hair cut, and we got him, Sarah and I were out with him, and we got him crossing the road. Now, it's very, very easy to say, right, this person can cross the road. They can tell you when it's clear. They can cross the road. So you go there and you go, right, is it clear? Yeah. Okay then. It's clear, is it? Yes. And they can't take the step because they're waiting for the prompt to say, off you go then. So unlearning that is a nightmare.
It can be quite uncomfortable.
Hard. It's one of the hardest things for people coming into sort of independent living skills in Carmarthen, for instance, to get. Because they have to be self-determining about making that next step. So this is what I mean by the learned helplessness thing. It's helping people to have the confidence to make the move themselves. That is probably the crux of everything we do when we come out. Once they've done that, they fly.
So how do you deal with parents and carers' expectations?
I always try and speak to them. Always, when I send out the consent form, I always make sure that it's clear this is about their child's choice, and that it's about giving them, the visit's about giving an informed choice, rather than us say, right, you will be good in that placement, so that's where you'll go. We don't do that. But at the bottom, there's always if you have any concerns, ring Sarah Redman on this number, sort of thing. So
does that happen, Sarah? Do you
to be honest, I think it's happened once.
Right.
And that was more to do with applying for a travel pass
than
it was, because that's the issue. It's things like getting travel passes is something I used to try to do in school, and it just never worked because some of the evidence-based stuff they need to apply, I haven't got
access to.
But then there's obviously, for some people, they are flat out, or it's the last thing on their mind is going on to
there's a lot
website.
going
on. So that's probably the area where I have the most difficulty is sort of like when we need to have bus fares in and things like that. The actual getting people out, on the whole, I would say the parents that I've worked with have been so on board with it. And I think they do see, the ones that have seen differences with their offspring, it's sort of reinforced the fact that it's a good thing, but also they talk to other parents.
Right.
So I think there is a bit of a like Chinese whispers
they do marketing for you.
They market for us to an extent. I don't think I've had possibly. So when I was working with MenCap, I would occasionally have issues. And then when I was lecturing young people going into the field of either social work or police or medicine or whatever. And the issue there was that parents sent their children to fulfill their own dreams, not their children's dreams. Yeah. So I think as I've worked through my career, coming to this job, it's probably the job where I've had the least problem with trying to bring parents and carers on board. That's cool. And I do think often for looked after children, it's probably harder because carers are obviously so aware of their responsibilities. They will tend to be more cautious, I think, than biological parents.
Wrapping them in cotton wool, or
I don't think it's that. I think it's about having that legal responsibility. And
they're fearful then of something happening under their care. They want to make sure
that those young people are safe with them.
But it might be the first sort of environment where the young person has gone out on their own. Most places as a parent or carer, you're with them. You know where they're going in school. You're taking them to appointments, or socially you know where they're going. And then suddenly, and it's a bit of a reminder, isn't it, that there's this big wide world waiting for your kid. But I imagine it's also the flip side is it can be incredibly empowering for the young person to be experiencing this new stuff.
I suppose often they want to get out from under the protective cover, don't they?
Well, it's like we all remember what we were like as teenagers, and I wasn't a particularly bolshy person, but I did like to get away, and I did like to make my own decisions, and I did like to actually do things that I shouldn't do. Not to the extent my sister did, but
that's another episode.
Totally. But it's just really important that people have that ability to be free of censure, I suppose. To be able to get out.
To have agency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something we were talking about before we were recording is that you need to have the ability to make mistakes. So I remember my own work experience, and we had this. He was dreadful. It's all right to say he's dreadful. Careers advisor who thought we should all be nurses or secretaries if you were a lady. And I wanted to go and work in a TV production company. And one of my teachers said, "Oh, just don't just be making tea all week." So I went in and, being a literal person, refused to make tea for anybody. And when I was actually producing programmes years later, it's pretty much all I did was make tea for people. It's expected. So I refused to do that, which sort of threw everybody, and they didn't know what to do with me, so they put me with in a costume department, and they were making a period drama, and the woman said, "This is this beautiful velvet and brocade jacket that the lead character will be wearing, and if you can just unpick the lace for me." And I was a dyspraxic 15-year-old, and I destroyed the jacket immediately, literally just tore it right across the front. And then I was allowed to go and sit on the main desk and go wherever I wanted, as long as I didn't touch anything for the week. But it was a gamble. They didn't really want to do work experience. It was a gamble, and I did destroy.
Who didn't want to do it? The company. The
company initially. They found it very difficult to place me, and the school weren't keen because it was an unknown.
Did they do like risk assessments and have people
I don't know
do
how,
discovery visits?
Like this was back in a go.
I imagine that's changed a lot.
Ooh, yes.
How long have you been in your position at QE High?
At QE High?
Like roughly?
God. I think this is my 10th year.
Okay.
And doing what I do now, I've probably been doing it about 7 years.
So you've seen
6 or 7 years.
Some changes,
when I was lecturing, I actually did do some lecturing on health and safety.
Okay.
So, and because I had students going out from the health and social care group into placements, I was having to risk assess that.
Okay.
So I was I suppose I was in the early band of risk assessors, but my husband was working for the sort of inspection and registration department, as it was initially, before it changed into, I don't know, whatever, it changed into about 4 times in England.
Right.
So I was very, very aware of all the legislation around health and safety and the different acts that we had to be sort of like observant of.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, it's a no-brainer doing risk assessment.
Sure.
But people should be dynamically risk assessing all the time anyway.
Of course.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I have, every time a trip goes out from school in Carmarthenshire, it has to be evolved with the local authority. It's called the evolve process.
Right.
So I will I'll think, right, I've got a young man who's going to go out on 3 visits. I've got to make sure that I've made a risk assessment that allows for that. But I've also got to make sure that if someone goes out on placement, they've got employer's liability. Mm-hmm. Or at the very least, sort of like basic public liability.
Sure.
That's the important thing. So that, like the wild site we go out on, the conservation site, has got public liability. Otherwise, I would not risk taking kids out there, because we wouldn't be covered by the local authority's insurance.
Right.
And the same goes for anybody going into an employment setting. At the very least, they've got to have public liability before I would place them there.
Do you find that small businesses are more open to having kids come and sort of give them a try?
Oh God, yes. I think it's more about they are willing to invest time and energy over a long period. Right. I'm not saying the big employers wouldn't, but they are so shackled by their policies.
Yeah. Everything's got to be run through.
Yeah, everything's, and normally they will say, we'll give them 2 weeks at this site on this. But that
like
doesn't work for our kids.
Yeah,
that won't work for them. Very few children that I come across, even in mainstream, I think it's unfair to expect that to happen. So basically it's I find that it's easier to build relationships with the local small businesses. You do build up. I have to invest a lot of time in connecting with them. You know, it's really important that we effectively communicate with people. It's not just about, would you mind doing this? Oh, you're so wonderful, aren't you wonderful? Blah, blah, blah. Get them in, get them out. Oh, fair enough, thanks. But I've got to a point where I am able to have people following on in placements.
So you've built a relationship.
My next question was, like, do you find that people actually get taken on because they're local or they've had, you know...
Well, Stephen's my first in the situation coming from Canolfan Elfed, where he's been employed. But I've got lots of people who've gone placements. They moved on to a more, I guess, what's the best word? Complex placement then, if you like, more involved placement or setting. And then the original setting will take someone else on and start to bring them on. So I tend to be able to have like a roll on, roll off.
Okay, it's a pipeline sort of thing.
Very much. The small businesses they appreciate the fact that we appreciate them. Yeah, so whenever we do a production, they're always mentioned in the thank you notes.
I was going to ask what, like, sort of, sorry. What's
playing footsie on
so
a podcast,
sorry,
honestly.
So unprofessional. What's in it for them?
Do you know, I think they actually enjoy the fact that they see people blossom and flourish. Yeah. I mean,
they're part of it.
Yeah, Paul and Nick at Tea Traders have been amazing. If it wasn't for them, the young man that came here this morning, he started off coming in with a TA for 2 hours a week, and then that increased to 4 hours a week. then we did travel training with him, so he would get on the bus with his TA, he had a bus pass, he would get in, the TA would fade, and then we got to the point where the TA got in a car with me and we followed him in, and then we got to a point where the TA wasn't going, and I would follow him in, and now I'm like monitoring and sort of like emergency pickup if he needs it.
Yeah.
He communicates reliably, but the reason we've got to that point is because Nick and Paul were happy to enable it.
Yeah. And you need I guess you need people willing to take a little bit of a risk, you know.
Absolutely.
And do you get like a good range of jobs, because like or experiences, they're so like how do you find where your fit is? I guess
just go and talk to people, and then I say to someone about another place, or I find that like Natalie at Stacey's Kitchen was fantastic, because she gave me the heads up that Connor at Nerdy would be willing to take a placement. So then I got someone in, and now I'm sort of like talking to the new people there, and the charity shops have always been very good in Carmarthen. However, interestingly, some of them now are very corporate and are very, very sort of like reserved about doing placements the way we need them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not naming any names because that's not fair, but there are some that I think, right, well, actually that isn't going to work now.
Yeah.
I know that's not going to work now. But places like Llysnini have been fantastic. Tihadvan have always been great. But we've got to a point now, we've got mainly our employers are actual retail of some kind, whether they're cafes or the fruit and veg or, you know, whatever.
Something customer facing.
Yeah, and actual not charity based. Okay. So the charity shops are fantastic because I can start people.
Yeah.
And they're not going to impact on, I guess, profits.
The day-to-day
because
of what's going on there.
Yeah, and also we've got to be really aware that this has got to be a good deal for the employer as well. Sure. So it's got to work both ways, and this is one of the things that we're working on with the kids when we take them out. So actually, you have a responsibility. You are representing the school. It's not just about what you achieve here. You're representing the school, but also these people are taking a risk because they're saying, we're going to let you in.
But when people get, I'm thinking from an employer's point of view, you know, when they see, like instantly almost, the sort of positive effect that you can have on someone's whole life, really, it must be pretty validating.
Oh, I think so. I think I've not met any of the employers that I work with now who I think don't get a lot out of what they do, and frankly, who have put in an awful lot of work themselves, because we always have a TA unless someone's been risk assessed to be a loan, and they have to be 18 and over. A TA is always there, and that TA is there to support but parallel work, or to, if they're in a fade or whatever, they're always there. But I think I think the employers appreciate the fact that they're not expected.
They're not just thrown into.
We've got to look after this person now. It's not like that at all, and I think employers really appreciate that. And as a result, I think also then they can see a quicker outcome with that person, because they've got a TA that's working alongside, that's pushing or pulling or nudging
sort of
or whatever.
managing the situation.
Yeah, but also knows the little idiosyncrasies of that person, where today I don't feel like wearing my gloves. Well, actually, you're going to wear your gloves because it's PPE and you haven't got a choice. Yeah. And the TA can have that. Yeah. I don't want to say that fight.
That conversation.
Well, I've had that fight before out on the conservation side. Yeah. This is expected. Now, you have a choice here. You either do it, or you have to think twice, is this the right placement? And, you know, you're putting that onus is on that child or pupil or student, whoever they are, to make an informed decision about what they're going to do next. And I think employers appreciate the fact that this is what is happening with these young people. We're not sort of like ticking boxes. We're actually helping them progress.
This is real stuff.
And they're part of that.
Do you think it, Sarah, I don't know if you've even noticed whether it makes a difference or not, how aware the employers or the placement people are about the neurodivergence or the limiting factor for the people that are coming. Have you noticed a difference, whether they're sort of up on it or not?
Interestingly, most people are.
Right.
Most people are, and actually some of our employers are neurodivergent themselves,
I did wonder,
have had issues in the past.
Right.
But generally speaking, I would say I can't think of any of the groups of people that I've worked with. I don't think there's been anybody who has been like overly cautious about it. They've been very willing. But I think a lot of that's around the prep. We have to do the prep with people first.
All the chats you have early on and just building that relationship.
And I think that's where it's really important when you actually meet people as well, isn't it? Because you can be freaked out by an idea of something or how this is going to play out, and then you know,
am I going to look silly?
Yeah, and then it's so different.
Make a mistake without even knowing it, I think.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, then we're back to allowing people to make mistakes, and it's
that's a huge thing about the conservation site that I work on with groups. They come out from year 7, and there are certain children who it really helps because they're not happy in school. Or the ones that really want to use their hands. I mean, the young man who's been taken on at Chris Thomas started there. Wasn't really happy in the school setting, although he really sucked it up and got on with it, frankly. But it's such an important place because they can mess up and it doesn't matter, and we can help people say, right, you know, I will say, look, I've messed up here, sorry about that. And we all take responsibility for our mistakes, but we also make it clear that it's a mistake. It's nobody's fault. No one's going to get censure or sort of like
the world
sidelined. No, I would say that's the most important thing about the outdoor place that I work. And it's a fantastic stepping stone then for the guys to go into placement in town, into a job setting, because they've already done all that stuff. They've already realised they can get it truly wrong.
So it's a stepping stone.
And get things right as well, you know, finding what your thing is, you know?
One of the most important things is the whole thing around banter.
Right.
Banter can be a really difficult one.
It's a minefield, isn't it?
Absolutely, especially, you know, if you're thinking about sort of like political correctness, you know, what can you say these days, because it moves, it's a moving thing. And I constantly get stuff completely wrong because I'm ancient.
Are we going to have to get our wokeometer out?
Dark ages stuff, you know. And there's one young man in particular who is lovely, and I've worked with him for a long time now. And
Max, get ready to mute this bit.
He can get it spectacularly wrong. But he is trying so hard to be part of the group. And what we do out there is we can get it wrong, and I can pull him and say, right, actually, that wasn't acceptable, and this is why. And we talk about it, you know. And then there's things I will allow them to say, or we will say out there, that I would say, do not go back into school and think you can say that. But don't then, also, if you go into an employer's, don't think you can say it there, because there are levels of banter and places where certain stuff's okay. So,
but that's big life skill stuff, isn't it? It's like communicating with different groups of people and where things are appropriate and not appropriate. It's all important stuff.
And it's I get things spectacularly wrong out there. There's a young woman who left us a couple of years ago, and we have very strict rules about how we carry things, spatial awareness, if we're pruning stuff, moving logs, using loppers, anything. You know, there is a myriad of rules out there for us to be safe. And we were doing some pruning, and I picked up prunings, and I turned around and I caught this young woman on her leg, and she never let me forget it. We went back in for a coffee, tea, whatever, and she told everybody, and I said, yeah. And every time I walked in there, I said, yep, I got it wrong. And they'd never let me forget it. It was hilarious. But as staff there, there's a gentleman, Ewan Williams, fantastic member of staff out there, and he would get his phone out during break or whatever, and then I'd be saying, right, time to put everything away. And we'd start talking about what we're going to do in the afternoon, and I would say, Williams, put it away. And they would crease up, the kids all crease up, because I'm telling off another member of staff. But then he will tell me off for something. So, it's about that understanding the way relationships work, working relationships, what's okay, what's not, and that we all get things wrong. It's so important.
Yeah. It is, and there's so much of that sort of unwritten social rules in the holistic world that it isn't innate for a lot of people.
That's again where the employers are incredibly good, because I can give them the heads up, right, this may come out, or you might see this behaviour or whatever. Yeah. And we can make sure that they're ready for that, and they've got the sort of strategies to deal with it. It's very rare we have to do it, but it's just like, in a way, as far as possible, we get the student to address that with the employer as they become more comfortable there. Sure. And that's much more valuable to do it that way.
What do you wish that more people understood about either what you do or what you are setting out to do? Or whether that's from employers or parents, carers.
I think that's a really difficult one to answer. I guess it's because it's about the fact that people probably don't know that it's happening. Yeah. Right. Except for the people that are actually involved.
Does the school in general, do they promote that sort of thing in Carmarthen at all?
I mean, I don't know about Carmarthen wide. I think QE is very good. I think it's improved an awful lot from the point of view of the way we think of the school as part of the community, and I think it's actually a very caring school. I think from what I've met of all the teachers in mainstream, even though my daughter had a real hard time there, everybody did their best for her. Everybody is, and that's going back a bit now, you know, but I think I look at the staff in our school, and I remember during COVID the way QE staff stepped up to support all the local hubs and bubbles of people. I think they're flipping amazing, and I think it's a real privilege to work with a team I work with in Elfed. I think they're fantastic. I just think they're amazing. I don't know where we were going with that, but I've
well, that's okay. That's all right. It's always nice to hear the lovely stuff, because we do tend to say out loud all the stuff that's not good.
Yeah, I do think the school is promoting this sort of thing. I don't think necessarily is they're saying, look at what Elfed's doing. It's not like that at all.
But you can't hard sell this kind of stuff either, can you?
And you can't, I think, underplay how important it is as well, because it's the sort of thing that, like, as a parent or carer, you might go, like, when your kid's in school, a lot of times it's sort of, right, now I'm getting on with the other stuff I'm doing. You do whatever you do there. And you don't have to be doing it. You don't have to be pushing to get more employers on board, or more employers to be more accepting, and getting young people out doing stuff, but you are, and something keeps you doing it.
I think what the school is really good at is not putting barriers in the way of what we're doing. Right. From the start, I think COVID, I know it sounds awful, but COVID sort of played into my hands with regard to what I do, A, out on the conservation site, and B, out with the work-based activity. Because just prior to COVID hitting, we'd really started to get work-based placement up and running. It was going really, really well.
So how did that... It sounds counterintuitive to what?
I think because when it stopped, we had everything sort of obviously shut down. And then I worked with a young man who was having a few issues in the home, and I opened up what we call the Coed Dullan, the Living Pictures site, so that I had him, I think it was 3 times a week, 3 days a week in
What did you call it, sir? The Living...
It's Living Pictures. It's a charity in its own right.
Right.
Run
Based
by
in the school?
This little bit is probably a whole subject, a separate
right.
subject.
Okay.
Which you might want me to just sort of like...
Can you give us the broad strokes?
Yeah, okay. So Coed Dullan is a site next to Greencastle Woods on the Llangine Road.
Right.
So it's just next, as you're going out of Johnstown, on the right you have Greencastle Woods, and right after it you have Coed Dullan. And it's a private piece of land owned by 2 fantastic people, Robbie and Ellen Bowman, who have also got their own charity called Living Pictures. Now their background is theatrical, but they do an awful lot of work which is with poorer communities,
right.
with less privileged areas. He's been abroad doing one-man shows in Delhi, and he works in all sorts of places, but
right.
teaching. And Ellen has been sort of like teaching drama and skills at Cardiff Uni.
Okay.
So, and they're very, very able. You will have seen Robbie on the television, but you won't have realised you've seen Robbie on the television. But they have been fantastic, because when I was with Mencap, they'd bought this piece of land. They wanted it to be a community garden. So Mencap went in, we had all our work prep team, we went in and started to help clear. And then I left Mencap, went to QE. Long story short, skip to the end, we're involved with Coed Dullan.
Okay.
And I ended up being the person out there because I didn't mind getting muddy,
right.
basically. That's pretty much how it started.
Thank you.
But anyway, Robbie and Ellen have been immense, because they do not charge us for the use of the site, and
right.
I have pretty much full autonomy with what we do there. So when COVID struck, I was able to take this young man out there 3 days a week. Luckily the placement didn't break down at home.
Yeah.
Right.
But then when the hubs and the bubbles and everything came in, and we started, a lot of Canolfan Elfed parents are actually key workers themselves.
Right.
So we were getting a lot of young people in. They were coming out to Coed Dullan with a group of staff, and then by the end of the COVID period, I was running it 5 days a week with a full house. And so we had the bubble and we had the hub, and never the twain
right.
did meet, but we had them out there. And suddenly I think people realised the value, because they saw the impact it had on the children.
Yeah.
And children were coming out, and apparently, I remember Jack and Marshall saying when they got back they were buzzing, and it had been pouring with rain, and they were buzzing, and they weren't minding getting wet, and they weren't minding getting muddy, and it's been amazing, because ever since then people want to come out to Coed Dullan.
Okay.
And then gradually we were able to get the work-based activity going, but because of the amount of stuff we've been doing at Coed Dullan, people had gained the skills to be able to get out on work-based activities. So once that got cracking again, we just had this natural movement happening.
So you built up a whole kind of cycle.
Yeah, it's almost like organic, the way it's worked. And again, but it wouldn't have worked without the TAs investing in it. And they have just been immense, because they didn't sign up for that when they signed their contracts.
Sure, but if you're seeing the actual results happening right in front of you, it's got to be a bit compelling, hasn't it?
I think so. I mean, there's some people it doesn't suit, certainly not out on that site.
Sure, but you'll find that out really quickly, won't you?
And that's fair enough, because
you've got to play to strengths.
Absolutely,
with everybody.
We all have different likes, dislikes, aptitudes, whatever. But I just think, as a whole, everybody does what they do so well that it works, and we can be under all sorts of pressure with staffing, with illness, whatever, but people still make it work. Yeah. And I think that's something special.
Absolutely.
Really special.
So in your sort of dream scenario, how would you like to see things running?
I would,
no pressure.
In my dream scenario, we would have a wonderful philanthropist who would come along with an inordinate amount of money so that we could get a few more staff into Elfed and enough staff for me to have 2 people to train up to do what I do.
Right.
So that we could run living pictures 5 days a week, and we could run work-based activity 5 days a week. And
you could oversee the whole thing.
Well, not really.
No?
Because I'd still have to do it.
Right.
I still have to do stuff. I need to be working and doing the stuff. And obviously it does help that I know how it all works. But I need people to know what I do. Because I'm 64 next month. I always said I'd leave when Steve left, and he's already gone. So it's like I want to make sure that when I'm ready to go, what we're doing now can carry on.
Yeah, there's the next generation.
That's the way, for me.
It's one of those underappreciated. Like, it's not even a job, I don't think, what you do. It's
very vocational. Yeah. I don't think it's fair to say it's underappreciated, because I think the people who know about it appreciate it. It's just not well known about, and that doesn't devalue it in any way.
No.
But I just want to know that we can continue, that the next wave of kids coming through will still have the opportunities that all these people going out on placement have now.
But you've obviously stuck in a heck of a lot of legwork to make it happen, and building up relationships and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing that I quite often say to people is that I broker it all.
Right.
But I'm not the one who's actually getting these kids through all the placement stuff. This is the TAs that do this. The TAs, the people who free them up to come out, the drivers who, if we need the minibus or we need someone to use their car because we can't use the public bus, or it's too far out and there's not a connection, it's them that make it work.
Sure. And that's a whole other thing as well. But TAs, like, alone, that, like, what's your job description in a sentence? Oh my God, and the phenomenal difference. A good, one of our kids literally passed their exam because they had the right TA, who got how they worked and worked really, really bloody hard, and beyond, I think they
surprise themselves, but there has to be a catalyst, and I think the catalyst is you in this situation.
But I get that you want to know that there's a legacy ready to carry on.
Absolutely. If there are any philanthropists out there listening, I need your money.
Into camera 3, please.
I need your money.
So,
would it be difficult for you to write your job description, or? Well,
my job description is what a TA does, and that's what I've signed.
Right. I think
to do what I do now. I know what you mean.
Is it longer? Is it a longer description?
It's different. It is different, because, as I say, being a TA and being a job coach are 2 very different things, and I think they are interchangeable, but each individual situation, each individual student, each individual TA has got to tailor that position and their strategies and the way they work for that one situation.
Well, you're always keeping the individual at the centre of everything, aren't you?
So it's about adaptability. I think that flexibility, that adaptability is absolutely key. How it relates to job descriptions, I think. Well, when I said all things to all people, without it being nasty, being sarcastic,
in a
which I can be,
sort of way.
That is sort of what you're almost signing up for.
It sounded to me like the sort of thread through all this, was that you were educating on both sides. You're an educator, but it's not just in the traditional orthodox, I'm educating young people. You also are educating the community at large and enabling these connections to happen, so that you're sort of building up this massive neural kind of network.
I hope so. I hope it would be a very interconnected thing.
I don't think it would work if it wasn't.
No, I mean, I think also, like I say, I think I said to you before we started the actual podcast, it's about our young people being visible in their community and being able to contribute meaningfully. Yeah. And I don't mean about meaningfully, it's a bit like, the whole academic thing. Exams are meaningful. Yeah. Well, actually they aren't to a lot of our young people. No. And what we see is, okay, so-and-so, these are their issues and this is what we're going to do. And this, but is it going to be meaningful for that young person?
Sure. Are we making an exam passer, or are we fostering someone's strength, someone's innate wonderfulness?
I think it's... I realise that the system is set up with the best will in the world.
Sure, it's what we've got right now, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's not ideal for...
It's not one size
fits all. It doesn't work for everyone.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for visiting with us and explaining.
No, it's really lovely.
I've learned so much.
Yeah.
And it has. It's been really lovely.
I'm already thinking about 1,000 other things I want to ask you about in the future.
Well, I'll be back here many times with the kids that I work with.
Yes,
so,
you're a regular at,
I'm a regular
at
here.
People First in Carmarthenshire.
Yeah, they're another group that I'm working closely with because, they're so committed to our transition group and Barod, who are enabling all this. They're fantastic as well. They've been nurturing one of our young men, and we've got other people that we're planning to bring. So
it's that sort of your tribe thing as well, isn't it? Finding the tribe and.
But it's the word community has come up a lot, and I think that is that's what
it takes a village to, what is it?
Yeah, go on.
I can't remember.
I'd love to hear what you're going to say.
Where you going with this?
Yes, it takes a village to something or other. I'm not sure.
Very wise.
One tends to talk in cliches a lot, and sometimes some of them are true.
Yeah, but the thing of seeing the potential in an individual and fostering that and finding by, hard work, the place where that person thrives and becomes part of the, an effective community is what you want, isn't it?
We just want resilient, happy. That's another one. Contented. And this is a good conversation I have with my kids a lot. To be happy 100% of the time would be ruddy exhausting.
Yeah.
And
but learning impossible.
I'd have to be heavily medicated.
Learning what contentedness is so important. It's something we don't talk about, and I think has been lost.
And it's really underrated.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is nice. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. Cool.
And that is just so much more valuable than hearing someone say, yes, I'm happy every day of the week.
It's
when it's like they're thinking, right, you don't seem very happy, love.
Get out in nature more, and I think that's where
a good one.
There's a lot of contentment out there in the green.
So I think what we've learned today is how valuable, I don't want to sound all twee, but how valuable people like you are, who I'm talking like, as parents, carers, whatever, pack off our kids and get on with our life. And meanwhile, you're doing the heavy lifting, making these connections, making things happen so that our kids can find out where their place is and where they can flourish to their best ability, and how important it is to have people like you that get it. So I get where you're coming from, that you want to leave a legacy of yous, so that the next generation of people are going to come forward and carry on like all the crazy brilliant stuff that you've got that's working for people. So yes, I hope you get your philanthropists as well.
So yes, very, very keen on that.
So all you philanthropists out there,
all of you,
please write in.
just send them money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No answers on the back of a postcard. We'll put our bank details.
No, we can't do that.
No.
Oh.
But, we'll get it to you somehow. Okay.
Brown paper envelopes. Yeah. But no, it really
Thank
does.
You.
It show the.
You're welcome.
It's. I talked all over that. Sorry, I did.
That's okay.
It illustrates the importance to it is like the old school community at large, isn't it? Where you're making the next generation of the community.
And it's also do what you can in a small space. We can't change the world. We can't make a difference globally, but we can make a difference in the space we're in.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing.
More of that.
Yeah.
Lots more. Well, I think that's probably it for this episode.
Yep.
Thank you for coming in, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Proving how special AF you are.
Yeah.
And please come back.
Yes, please do.
Well, I'd love to.
And thank you for listening and watching wherever you are. We hope you'll come back and see us again. And in the meantime, if you'd like to check out the website, you can find out more about what we've talked about today and what we're doing in the future.